Today we will be returning to my all-time favourite series of Thomas and Friends. Over half of Series 4 is comprised of narrow gauge episodes, and today we will be looking at one of the best ones. Hello, you're watching Can You See Fish? And today we'll be taking a look at Steamroller. Steamroller is the 12th episode of the 4th series of Thomas and Friends. It was originally written by Reverend Wilbert Awdry and narrated by Michael Angelis in the UK and George Carlin in the US. Here's the story. Sir Handel boasts about his broad tyres, which the other engines called steamroller wheels. To try and make him see sense, one day Skarloey challenges Sir Handel to get rid of a rude steamroller named George who wants to tear up the railways. One day, Sir Handel and George meet at a level crossing and have an argument which makes the steamroller furious. Later, Sir Handel brings some trucks. He's travelling along the part of the railway that runs parallel to the road, and George won't let him pass. During the argument, George derails one of Sir Handel's trucks and the crews begin to start arguing before a policeman comes and the workmen begin to clear the mess as well as putting up a fence between rails and road. Sir Handel thinks that he has made George leave and boasts even more than before. The story ends with some boys taunting Sir Handel about the events of the episode, prompting him to never mention steamrollers ever again. So what's significant about Steamroller? Well, this episode marks Sir Handel's last speaking role until the 10th series, and also marks Duke's last speaking role overall, although he does only speak as part of a group. Perhaps the most notable thing about this episode, however, is that it introduces George the Steamroller to the show. This episode, in my opinion, is Sir Handel's best. Here he's boastful, rude and arrogant, and it makes for a really interesting story to see him rivalling another troublesome character. George is a very good villain and to me is one of the best in the show. I also think the scenario is really interesting and the setting on the road near Benglass makes the story really unique and iconic. This episode is one of the ones that makes me so sad that Sir Handel didn't appear in Series 5, 6 or 7, because he could have had some great episodes. For me, Sir Handel will always be the best narrow gauge engine. He only got 3 episodes with his true personality in the classic era, which makes each of them stick out to me more. This episode could have very easily been another rock and roll or another Dunkin' Duncan, but the unique dynamic between Sir Handel and George makes it far more iconic, and considering all of this, I give Steamroller a 9 out of 10. You've been watching Can You See Fish, and until next time, goodbye.